How's it going? Dave from Comic Book Investments. So it's story time. I know you guys like these stories. This one is pretty rough one, pretty bad one. It's about how I pretty much one of my biggest scams that happened to me dealing in comics. Oh, it's a rough one. So it's more rough because the time period it happened. So it happened, I think it was our first or second year. I think it was our first year doing business. So it definitely hurts a lot more because we didn't have very much income and revenue coming in. So someone listed a bunch of books on eBay, and we, won a bunch of auctions. Probably won a ton of stuff, right? And it was like going to be like one of our biggest purchases. And the guy had okay feedback, but back then, this is almost 12, 13 years ago. Wasn't too uncommon for people to have this kind of books and not very much feedback. There were like X-Men 1s. There was like an X-Men 1. There's Spider-Man 14, things like that. A bunch of good stuff. I think the total, if I can remember correctly, was close to $8,000 or $10,000. Now you're thinking X-Men 1 for, along with Spider-Man 14 and a bunch of other stuff too. I'm talking about like a bunch of good keys. I think those are the two top books though. It was a different time back then. Things were a lot cheaper comics wise. So we win all this stuff, but before we can pay for it, eBay took all of his listings down and contacted us saying this has been flagged for, whatever reason. I can't remember the reason why, but they took down all his listings, even though there's still some going on in an auction and we've already won a few. So we're like, okay, this is weird. Maybe it's fake or something like that. So I can't remember if we reached out to him or if he reached out to us, but nonetheless, communication was brought between us, and he was like, yeah, eBay's like, for some reason, I'm selling too much high value stuff too quick, so they just took my account down, which like kind of makes sense because eBay now what they do is if you sell too much of expensive stuff, they like hold it in your account until, me, the buyer, gets it in and then it gets paid for, and then I leave feedback saying I'm satisfied. Right? I think that's how eBay does it now. If you sell, like say you put in 10 things in auction and they all go for like $5,000 each. So I think that was kind of like, okay, that kind of makes sense at the time. And he's like, look, do you want to go outside of eBay? I'm sure you know where this is going. And we can work out some kind of deal. I think he sent us pictures with his phone. So we're like, okay, he actually does have them. It's not, he's just posting fake pictures. So we're like, there's a lot of money. He was like, look, I have all these other books too that you can have and we can work out some kind of deal. And so we're like, well, it's a lot of money. We just started and it's like, oh, should we invest all this money into this? And we're like, okay, how about this? We told him, because it's outside of eBay, we don't have any eBay buyer protection and all that stuff. We'll pay for one book and then you send us one book. And then we know that you're legit, and then we can pay for more, and then you can send us more. So kind of do it in lump sums like that. And he's like, fine, no problem. I think the one that we bought, we didn't want to buy the most expensive, but we wanted to buy kind of expensive to see like, what if they're restored, right? If they're restored, it's like, oh, great, we got a bunch of restored books. So I think the one we went with is Spider-Man 14. I don't remember the price. I think it was like $1,000, maybe somewhere around there, between $1,000 to $1,200. We get it in, I'm like, oh, this is nice. It checks out everything, like no restoration, no missing pages, like trimming, all the color touch, nothing. Looks amazing, just like the pictures. We're like, sweet. Now we're gonna get this X-Men 1 in. We're gonna get all these other big keys, and I think it was maybe like 10 or 12 books. And so we're like, everything checks out, everything's great. So we send them the money. We got a package back. You know what we got back? We got a bunch of, I don't even know why he sent us package. He could have sent us nothing, but he sent us a package anyways, because remember, this is outside of eBay. He sent us a package anyways. It actually had a Spider-Man 252 in it. But at the time, Spider-Man 252 wasn't worth very much. had a Spider-Man 252 and then like 3 random comics from like the Bronze and Copper Age, like nothing of value. We're supposed to be getting like X-Men 1s and like, things like that in there. And I think in total, that was many, many years ago, I think it was almost 10 grand, I think is what it was. It was close to it. It was either a little over that or a little under. So let's just say 8 to 10 grand, somewhere in there. And yeah, that really sucked. And there's nothing we could do. We had the guy's address. I think we even called the cops down there, and they weren't helpful at all. So yeah, that was a tough one, especially it being in the beginning. Like I said, in the beginning, it just really sucked because that was a lot of money. It definitely put us a lot. It's different now. If that happened to us now, yeah, it would suck. But we have built up more of a business, so it's not as bad. So a lot of people will ask me all the time. It's like, hey, why don't you send me the books and then I will send you the money for them and pay for them, all that kind of stuff. I'm like, no. I've been scammed like this before, and it's not even worth it for me. Like whatever you're offering, it's not worth it because the odds of you just taking my money and keeping the books, it's not worth it. And they're like, well, why should I trust you? I'm like, look, you can look at our eBay. We have over 30,000 positive feedback. We've been in business for 12 or 13 years. We have a website. We have tons of stuff. You can ask around. A lot of people know who we are. So, we're not just some random person. To me, when I'm talking to whoever it is, I'm like, you're just a random person. Like, so that's why and I've had people actually get mad at me because I won't send them the money first. All sorts of stuff, right? I hear all sorts of things. But I'm like, nope, this is a business. This is how we do it. Like, whatever you're offering is not worth the risk of me losing all the money. So, no, that's okay. Like, if it's like something big and they feel uncomfortable, I'm like, okay, I'll fly down there or we'll meet up or something like that. That's fine. But yeah, so that's like probably my biggest scam that happened to me. But as long as you learn from your mistakes, then it's a learning experience. So that's why we've changed our policy, to basically if you're sending us comics or money for comics, the customer has to send it to us first. And then once we okay it, whether it's money or we get in comics and we're, sending out comics or sending out money, then once we okay it, then we send it out. It's just better, we're a business. But that's the kind of thing, as long as you can learn. So yeah, let me know what kind of scam stories you guys have. I'm sure there's tons out there. Let me know in the comments below some of your terrible scams. I'm sure you don't want to relive them. As always, link down to my website, collectorscomics.com, where we list new books every Wednesday night, Thursday morning, and and also a link to my music as well. All right, thanks. Have a great day.